So we're going to get started. So, first of all, Happy New Year. Happy 2021. We are in a new year, even though, it looks like 2020 gave a little bit more time over here. Hey, Lauren, what's going on? Looks like 2020 and 2021 were twins or, conjoined twins or best friends, best cousins. I don't know. But it just seems like all of a sudden 2021 is the best friend of 2020. You know what I'm saying? Or is 2020 in disguise? So it's a lot going on, but we're not going to let that get us down. I know, in 2020, it was kind of hard to stay focused. It was hard to stay consistent because it seemed like there was no let up with different things. Like, how one thing happens and then like 20 more things happen. Excuse me. And it seems like they're back to back. Like there was one point in time, I was just like, God, like, give us a break. Like, I just need 1 month to just cry it out for the past 6 months and then we can continue. So it was definitely difficult, but I'm determined in 2021 that no matter what's going on in the world, I can't stop doing what I'm doing. Right? I can't stop living my life to the best of my ability. I can't stop. And we're going to get into why I can't stop, towards the end, but I wanted to just get on and share 3 tips, three ways to make this year your best year. 3 ways to really go after this year and really say, I can make this year all that it's meant to be, even in the midst of trials, even in the midst of situations, even in the midst of what we're going through right now. Today I was praying and I was tweeting. Well, at least looking at the tweets. I was praying, I was tweeting, and I was working. I was praying, I was tweeting, I was working. Like it was literally both going on at the same exact time. So it's been a whirlwind today. Today has just been a whole lot, right? But we're going to get into the 3 tips, 3 things that I know for a fact will help all of us make 2021 at least the start of the best years of our life. Okay. The first one, no excuses. We have to get to the point where we stop making excuses for why we're not doing everything we're supposed to be doing. I am a good one for sitting up and saying, oh, well, I didn't go to sleep until 12 o'clock last night. And so because I woke up at 10:30 a.m., the rest of my day is not going to be productive. So I'm going to just sit and binge watch my favorite show. I'm going to just sit and eat all my favorite snacks. I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to go to the mall because I woke up so early. Because I woke up so late, this day is shot. And then I continue to just let the day drag on and I do nothing productive. And what happens is when I start making those excuses and I start saying to myself, well, this is why I couldn't do what I'm supposed to do. This is why I couldn't be everything I was supposed to be today. When I do that, I end up getting into like a rut. Like I end up getting into a space where I feel bad. I feel bad for myself. I'm angry with myself. I'm frustrated with myself because I didn't do what I know I was supposed to do. And so when that happens, then that carries over into the next day and it carries over into the next week because it's just one day upon another day upon another day upon another day of me just doing nothing. And I end up getting sad and I end up feeling bad about myself and I end up angry with myself. And when all those things happen, now instead of it just being one day I wasn't productive or a few hours I wasn't productive, now it's gone on to a week. Now it's gone on to 2 weeks of me not doing everything that I was supposed to do. And when I get into that place and I get into that mentality, then I'm wasting not just a few hours. Now I'm wasting weeks and days at a time. And how many can say that they've done the same thing, right? We've all been in that space where we felt bad or we've had a bad day. And then we allow that bad day to be an excuse for the next 2 weeks where we're not productive. The next 2 weeks where we're not our best self. The next 2 weeks where I say, I'll do that later. I'll do that homework later. I'll do that homework tomorrow. I'm just not in a good mood. And then we keep putting it off and then the homework is due and then we didn't turn it in. And now our teacher has to give us a 0. And then our parents are like, well, why did you get a 0? And you say, oh, it's because I was having a bad day. But then the bad day turned into weeks. No excuses in 2021. Now, this is what I'm not saying. What I'm not saying is, when you're having a bad day, forget about it. Don't think about it. I'm not saying that at all, period. You find the time to express whatever emotion you need to express, whether it's to cry, whether it's to punch a punching bag, whether it's to put whatever you're mad about on a piece of paper and rip it up a bunch of times, whether it's to come watch some of my TikTok videos, whatever it is, right? Whatever you choose to do, allow yourself to be in that moment. What I'm saying is, don't use that moment as an excuse not to move forward. Don't use that moment as an excuse to say, well, I'm having a bad day, or the first 2 hours of my day were bad, so the rest of my day is going to be bad. And then we just automatically let that moment that we had when we were angry, we let it take control of our lives. And a lot of us get to that point where we've allowed one moment in time, one bad breakup, one bad friendship, one bad experience with a teacher or with somebody we worked for. We allow that one bad experience to define all of our lives. We allow that one time, if we have a bad relationship experience, we allow that to define every relationship after that. And when somebody says, why are you so mean? Why are you so heartless? Oh, it's because when I was in 5th grade, somebody broke my heart. I don't trust people no more. That was in 5th grade. You a college student. Why are you still, treating guys that way? That guy was nice. He was worthy of your time. Or we say, because I had one bad friendship, I can't trust anybody. I've heard that so many times, especially in my TikTok DMs and Instagram DMs. They say, I just don't trust anybody. Why don't you trust anybody? Because when I was in 7th grade, my best friend lied on me. And so I don't trust nobody. But you're a senior in high school. At some point, we have to heal and not make the excuses to keep carrying that baggage and taking that baggage with us into new situations and allowing it to hold us back from being everything we were meant to be, from experiencing the fullness of a new friendship, of a new relationship, of a new experience. No more excuses in 2021. Handle it, deal with it, find the root of it. What's the issue? How do you need to express it? How do you need to begin the healing process and continue to take steps forward? Now, I'm not saying you got to be perfect to move forward, but how can I get in the healing process and keep walking at the same time? Right? If my twins, they like to ride their little cars, and they like to ride their little scooters and all kinds of things. When they fall down, that doesn't stop them from ever riding a bike again. When they fall down, they cry, they're upset. I give them a Band-Aid, give them a hug. My husband gives them a hug, gives them a kiss. And the next day, when can I go outside again? Even though they still have a Band-Aid on. So how in 2021 can you learn to move forward while you're healing and not allow that pain of that situation and not allow the frustrating part of that, of whatever you went through, stop you from moving forward in life? How can we do that in 2021? All right. So that's number one. No excuses. We're going to cut down on the amount of excuses that we use, and we're going to allow ourselves to heal, and we're going to push ourselves forward in new situations and not let it hold us back from being everything that we're meant to be. All right. So that's number one. Number two, we are going to focus on the things that are in our control. And I know that's a very hard thing to do right now, especially if you live in America, really, if you live anywhere in the world, because most people are watching what's going on in America, and people know that sometimes it's almost a ripple effect. Something happens here and it happens other places too. But when I focus on what my area of control is, my level of anxiety comes down. When I say to myself, what are the things in my life that I can control right now? My level of anxiety comes down. It has no choice but to come down. Because I believe that a lot of the root of anxiety is that we think about things that we can no longer control. So I'm anxious about the past because I can't change what happened. I can't change what I said. I'm anxious about the present because I really don't know the future. And so I'm not sure if what I'm doing right now is going to have a positive impact for my future. And then I'm anxious about the future because I don't know what's coming. And so a lot of it is things I cannot control. And so when I sit and I think, and I've done this before, I sit and I rehearse old conversations in my head. And I say to myself, oh, you should have said that right there. Oh, you should have got her right there. You should have did that. And that would have stopped her from talking about you the rest of that time that y'all were friends, right? But I can't change it. I can't go back in time and say, hey, Allyson, don't say that, say this. I can't change it. And so when I focus on what can I control right now, my level of anxiety has no choice but to come down. So like even right now with everything going on with this election, with everything that's happening, at the Capitol and with the voting and here in Georgia, with everything that's going on, yes, I can be frustrated. Yes, I can be angry, but I can't allow it to become an internal issue that I feel like I need to figure out what I can do in the midst because I voted. What more can I do? I don't live in DC. I'm not a cop. I'm not a government official. I don't have any type of, rich people power. I don't have any of that to be able to go in a situation and immediately change it. So for me to continue to be on Twitter and me continue to be on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and just take in all of this stuff, it does nothing but elevate my level of anxiety. Why is my level of anxiety going up? Because I cannot control what is happening. And when I feel out of control, my anxiety shoots up. When I can't say to myself, what is plan A, B, C, and D? When I can't put those down on paper, my level of anxiety shoots up. Versus if I say, okay, this is what's happening. There's nothing I can do about it. Let me turn this off, right? I've been on and off. I'm not gonna lie, I've been on and off Twitter all day. I'll look at it a little bit. Like I said, I'll look at it. I'll pray. I go do some work. I'll look at it. I go pray. I do some work. Like it was this whole triangle that was happening in my house today with me and my husband. But I have to minimize what I'm seeing because I know my anxiety level is going up because I'm anxious about two things. I'm anxious about what's going on and I have no control over it. And I'm anxious about what the future of this situation is. But neither one of those situations can I control. I can't control either one. I'm not the president. I'm not a senator. I'm not in government. I don't live in DC. I'm not even a janitor within Congress right now. What's it called? I'm not even a janitor in that building. So there's literally nothing I can do to change that situation. Nothing. So it's not in my locus of control. So I release it. I turn off Twitter. If anybody's talking about it, I get off. Everybody talking about it on Facebook, I get off Facebook. People start saying it on Twitter, I get off of Twitter, TikTok, because it's not in my locus of control. And if I know it's going to make my anxiety go up, I have to back away. And so we're not going to, I don't want us in 2021 and years beyond this to sit and to think. And a lot of times anxiety, and I've talked about this before, if you check out some of my other videos, anxiety never presents like positive outcomes, right? It's never, oh, I'm so anxious that I got 100% on that test. Like we're never anxious about stuff like that. Oh, I'm so anxious that I'm going to be, nominated as class president. I can't wait to be nominated as class president. I'm so anxious. No, it's never the positives that we're anxious about. It's always these dramatic movies playing in our head of just gloom and doom, right? One event after another, then we rewind it, and then we think about some other bad events, and then we rewind it, and then we think about some other, like it's just a chain reaction of negative thoughts and negative events, and we keep rehearsing them in our mind to the point that in our bodies it's become real to us. And so our hearts are beating fast, and we're starting to breathe really heavy. All because of what we have created up here. And the crazy part, it may never happen. But in our mind, it's real. And it could happen. And so because it's real here, and it can happen here, and now I'm feeling it in my body, and my heart is beating fast, And my breathing is getting heavier, and I'm breathing faster. It's got to be real. And my anxiety continues to shoot up and shoot up and shoot up. And now I'm having a panic attack. And somebody says, "What are you having a panic attack about? Everything happened in the government." But what can you do about what's happening in the government? Nothing. So we have to make a decision, and it's not an easy decision to make. I'm not going to sit here and say, just make the decision. Everything is perfect. No, it's not an easy decision to make, especially when it's happening outside of you and you're seeing it everywhere. Social media is broadcasting and posting it everywhere. It's not easy to let it go. But there are things that you can do to put it in there are things you can put in place for you to be able to ease up on the anxiety. So that way your anxiety is not shooting up over things you cannot control. So if you are like, let's say it's an anxiety about a friendship, right? So you're anxious, you're saying, me and my friend don't get along. I think she's talking about me on Instagram. So block her, unfollow her for the time being until you figure out what's really going on in this situation. One of the ways I believe is the best way to manage anxiety is to put a plan in place. When I have a plan, the moment my anxiety shoots up, my plan comes in to defend it and knocks it back down. And so if I'm anxious about my friend and I think she has a close friends and I think she's subtweeting me or she's making posts about me, my plan in place is if I start to see that, I put a block on her and I unfollow her for the time being until we can text and have a conversation. That way I don't know if she's talking about me. Because I have no clue what she's posting. Right? I'm not just sitting and creating all these things running through my head. And, oh, she's probably talking bad about me. She's probably saying this about me. She's probably telling my deep, dark secret. You don't know. So instead of me creating scenarios and my anxiety shooting up, I'm going to block her and unfollow her. And then I'm going to text her and we're going to have a serious conversation. Because I'm not going to keep allowing myself to get worked up over a situation I know nothing about. Because I could text her after I block her or I unfollow her, and I text her and I say, "Hey, I saw your tweet from today, or I saw your Instagram or your TikTok from today. I just want to know, are you talking about me?" "No, girl, did you know so-and-so said this to me today? I wouldn't talk about you like that. You're my friend." Whew, that's over with. But if I just keep following her, right, and I keep seeing all her posts and I'm not saying anything to her and I don't have a plan in place to deal with the situation, my anxiety just keeps shooting up. And I'm making up stories about her and I'm calling her a fake friend and I'm saying that she's a toxic friend. And then I start talking about her behind her back and saying all of this other stuff. And then I find out that it wasn't about me. Now I have to backtrack and figure out how to make up for the mess that I just made. Because I let anxiety take over. Because I tried to control a situation that was outside of me. And then when there was a situation I could control, I just let my anxiety do the work for me. And so we're going to focus on our area of control. What are the things that I can control? What are the things I can put my hand on and I know it will change? Okay. So such as, getting a grade, getting a good grade in the class. Okay. That's within my locus of control, because if I don't do my homework, I know I'm going to fail. If I study for my test and pass it, I know I'm going to pass. So instead of me being anxious about it, I put a plan in place. Okay. So if I know I'm taking geometry or algebra this year, I'm not just going to be anxious about geometry and algebra. I'm going to put a plan in place, right, to deal with that anxiety and shut it down. I'm going to ask my mom or dad for a tutor. I'm going to ask my teacher for extra work. I'm going to ask them for some websites I can go on and practice. I'm going to watch some YouTube videos. I'm going to go on Khan Academy. These are the different places I'm going to go to deal with that anxiety and shoot it down. Because I know if I don't shoot it down, the anxiety is going to rise higher and higher and higher. And I'm terrified about how I'm going to do in this geometry, or I'm terrified about how I'm going to do in algebra. And I just let it go. And then I fail the first test. And then I'm really anxious, but I still do nothing about it. So my anxiety says to me, "Oh, you're stupid. You'll never get it. Oh, you're worthless. Oh, you're not smart." And I start believing my anxiety because I'm creating it in my mind. And so then when I fail the class, I say to myself, I knew I was going to fail that. But it's because I didn't deal with the anxiety and the situations I created up here at the beginning of the year. So we're going to deal with what's in our locus of control. Everything that's outside of it, we're going to release our hands of it, try to remove it from out of our sight, try to remove it from out of our ears. And then the things that are within my locus of control, I'm going to create a plan about things I feel anxious about. Okay. And then number 3, what is the cost of your inaction? Right. So going back to the geometry and the algebra. Okay. If your long-term goal is even to be a YouTuber, do you understand that YouTube is not, if you want to be a successful YouTuber, YouTube is not just I make videos, I post them and use hashtags and I get famous. No, YouTube's is I study the analytics. I study how the numbers work. I study how many views do I need to get here in order to make this amount of money. And math comes into all of that. And so I say to myself, I'll never use algebra. I'll never use geometry. Right. But the videos that I want to create has to have certain angles. If certain, if I'm doing a trick, certain angles have to be done for the trick to come out the right way. For algebra, I'm studying, what number needs to go in here for me to make this amount of money. I'm studying formulas. But people don't think about that. They say, I just want to make I just want to make videos, post them and get famous. No, math is a part of that as well. English is a part of that. If you have terrible captions, if you don't know how to spell some of the words within that caption, people are not always going to want to follow your stuff, right? So all of that is connected. So then the question becomes, if I don't take care of my geometry now, how am I going to get to become that famous YouTuber? If I don't take care of my smaller issues here, if I don't take care of what's happening here now, how will I be able to affect my future? If you want to become a doctor, that means you have to start liking science a little bit more. That means that you have to dig deep in biology. But if I just see biology and I just open up the book and I'm like, I don't want to do biology. I hate biology. What is the cost if you don't do everything you need to do in biology? How will you get into med school? How will you get into college? What about a situation you have as a doctor where if you would have paid attention to that one lesson in biology, that one person's life could be saved? And I know that seems really deep and dramatic if you're, elementary, middle, or high school, even in college, but it's that serious. I wish to this day, I would have paid more attention in math. I could not stand math, y'all. I hated math, especially in high school. My math teacher's name was Mr. Lind. I could not stand Mr. Lind. But I wish to this day that I would have paid more attention. I wish I would have paid more attention in journalism because I'm writing more, I'm reading more. I was posting for some publications. I wish I would have paid more attention in journalism, but I didn't. And now because I didn't, I'm having to YouTube journalism. I'm having to look up articles about journalism and look at other people's articles to figure out what's the best way to write. When I could have paid attention in journalism when I was in high school, and that could have helped me even now. So my cost of inaction then is costing me now. So what is the cost of inaction if you don't give your everything? What is the cost of inaction if you're not the person that you're destined to become? What happens to the world when you're not who you're supposed to be? When you're afraid to be alone, so you stay with toxic friends who don't elevate you and push you to be your best self. What's the cost of that? What's the cost? So in 2021 and beyond, I want you to think, if I stay in this toxic friendship right now that is not taking me anywhere, we're not growing together. If I stay here, which means that we all stay on this basic level, what is the cost for me later on in life, years down the line? When a young girl needs me to speak to her about friendships and I can't do it because all I've had is toxic friendships. So what is the cost of your inaction, of not being your full self, of not doing your all, of not giving your best, of not being your best self? What is the cost of your inaction? And it may seem small right now, but if you think down the line, these decisions that you're making right now have a lasting effect. These decisions you're making right now have a lasting effect on your life, no matter how old you are. So what is the cost of your inaction? What is the cost of you staying in that toxic relationship? What is the cost of you not doing your homework and not being able to graduate, or getting bad grades, having to go to summer school? Then what do you lose out on next summer? There was a time when I was in my junior year, I failed math and biology in the same year, same semester. And I was doing opera at the time. So I had an opera camp that I had to go to, but I had to go to summer school to pass 11th grade to go to 12th grade, which meant that the first part of my summer, I couldn't have freedom. The first part of my summer, I had to go to summer school, and I couldn't even go to summer school with people I knew. I had to go to another district because I had a summer camp coming up. And then my dad and my mom couldn't spend money on stuff I wanted. They had to spend money on summer school. So I went right from summer school into camp. I had no free time. That was my cost of inaction. So sometimes your cost of inaction isn't something 10, 20 years down the line. It could just be 3, 4 months down the line. But I want you to think about that. What is the cost for me if I don't pass this class? I could be on punishment. I lose my phone. Maybe mom and dad say I can't go to prom. Or they say I can't go to this dance. I can't go to this party. What is the cost of my inaction? And whatever that cost is, trust me, it's too much. So it's best that we go into 2021. It's just day 6. It's best that we go into 2021 thinking to ourselves, what is the cost of my inaction? And knowing the cost is too great. And saying to ourselves, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to be my best so that I set myself up for success, so that I don't have to have anxiety about what is to come, because I know I've set myself up for success. All right. But that's all I wanted to share today. I was trying to record 2 at the same time. But that's all I wanted to share. Thank y'all for joining me. It's so good. We're going to be doing these every Wednesday. I'm committed to that every Wednesday, just inside Girlfriend Gang. So if you're a part of Girlfriend Gang, you have access all the time. Other people have to watch the replay. And as time goes on, maybe we'll do Zoom calls so I can see you while you see me. But that would be great. But thank you all for joining me. I love you all so much. And I will be live Saturday on TikTok doing Q&As as always. All right. Happy New Year. I love you. Peace.